Red Cup in Oceanside holds its yearly yogurt eating contest every August. It takes a real foolhardy individual to try to eat a whole gallon of frozen yogurt, and especially under 15 minutes in contest conditions. I was here to basically try to go for the championship after finishing second place last year to Johnny Excel. Frank Paulin, seated to my right there, who you saw in the beginning, was a repeat customer as well, as was Phil Furden in the green shirt there. Damon Wells would actually be the new man in this competition. He's probably my greatest competition outside of Kevin Ross in the Southern California eating scene. And he actually gave me a hell of a run in this contest. We got to pick our own flavors of frozen yogurt, which in some ways really doesn't help because it's just a ton of dairy, ton of cold, and a ton of ice. We used water bottles to kind of thaw the frozen yogurt as it went down. But it's really a brutal contest. Damon actually slaughtered his bowl. He does very well with ice cream. If you saw the results from Farrell's, he also finished in first place there. And I considered it a sign, or an omen, if you will, of things to come in this contest. But the worst part of this was actually not the contest itself, but the aftermath. Both of us suffered extreme stomach cramps, probably the worst stomach cramps I've ever felt in my life. And they really came in cycles. You know, you'd feel really terrible, then you'd feel good or okay, and then they would come back. You'd feel really terrible, like your stomach was just in knots and about to burst. I haven't had appendicitis or anything, but I don't know. It just felt wretched. Of course, Damon, as you can see, is just powering through the bowl. Certain parts of it already melted enough to where he can basically just drink it, chug it like it's a milkshake. For my part, I was dealing with a lot of just cold, hard mass, and I kind of wiggled and tried to jump and even used water to kind of melt it. As you can see there, Phil Furden is drinking his. You can't see me, but to my right, you're not going to see it. Frank Paulin is actually chugging away mightily. Frank would actually take third place. You had 15 minutes. Frank got it around the 14-minute mark. 8 pounds or a whole gallon is a ton of food for anyone. You know, the average human could probably consume maybe 2 to 3 pounds. Expecting someone to actually go through 8 pounds of food is a heck of a request. At last year's contest in 2011, Johnny Excel won the championship by finishing in 5 minutes and 53 seconds. I would actually manage to break his time by finishing in 5:51, making me the actual second fastest person in the contest's 4-year history, winning the challenge. Damon, however, would set a blistering, ridiculous finish at about 4 minutes and 16 seconds. We speculate that perhaps his ice cream was a little bit, his frozen yogurt was a little more melted. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a contest. It is what it is. And it's pretty much fun and games. But my hat's off to Damon for that ridiculously fast finish. In the words of the owner, that's probably a number that is never going to be touched again. And as you can see at the end here, we're not even at 4 minutes. And Damon is just chugging. He's literally drinking the remnants of the ice cream, the frozen yogurt. Gotta remember this frozen yogurt, not ice cream. Of course, I'm out there being stylish with my straightened hair and sunglasses, but it really didn't help me eat any faster. And then Damon's standing up. He's just dominant, just killing it. In case you're wondering, we had to pay about $30 in order to participate in this contest. Your money was refunded as long as you finished your bowl. In this event, only 4 people would manage to finish out of perhaps 16 or 17 contestants, maybe closer to 20 contestants because they did it in 2 groups. You also got a Red Cup t-shirt, and you got to keep the Red Cup bowl in the event of whether you finished or not. So everybody's walking away with a couple souvenirs. First place in the contest, which went to Damon. He is there celebrating in his great victory. Damon actually won $175. I picked up $75 for my second place finish. Frank Paulin walked cleaned up with $50. And there was another finisher. I don't remember his name. He was actually competing in the first section. He was the lone person in that group to finish. He won a beauty prize, which is actually bigger than the second place prize. The beauty prize was $100. He struggled mightily to finish his bull, and if I remember correctly, he actually swallowed some of his own, vomit, regurgitation. Of course, the rules state that you're free to continue if you throw up as long as it's in the bucket and you continue to eat. Johnny Excel, who has a video of last year's contest, refers to this as Oceanside's annual puke fest, and for good reason. Most people cannot plunk down that amount of dairy. The effect on the body is just wretched, and Damon and I both paid for it afterwards. We both had to make many restroom stops on our long commutes home. One of the disadvantages of competitive eating is that quite often the contests are nowhere near where you live. Of course, I was far ahead of the field with my second place finish at 5:51. I was proud to break Johnny Excel's time, but my work is cut out for me because I'm expecting Damon to be there, and he's going to bring his A game, and I got to bring mine. And there we go. My bucket's all done, and I am literally in freezy hell. Freezy hell.